levels of the exams every year attest to the quality of our top-notch physical and online program in the last 10 years. That's right, we have been impacting the industry for 10 years and have supported about 2,500 professionals in that time space. Register with New Frontiers Learning today. New Frontiers Learning is the #1 tuition center for the CFA exams in Nigeria. Our founders went through their CFA journey with little or no support of any kind. However, they vowed to turn into reality the dream of every CFA candidate earning the CFA charter, irrespective of their backgrounds, finance and non-finance alike. It is this commitment to support our candidates that influences our engagement of a world-class faculty, partnerships, scholarship and discount offers, our online learning management system and so much more. Our clients' outstanding results across all levels of the exams every year attest to the quality of our top-notch physical and online program in the last 10 years. That's right, we have been impacting the industry for 10 years and have supported about 2,500 professionals in that time space. Register with New Frontiers Learning today.
All right, good evening everyone and welcome to crack the CBT code. Welcome to New Frontiers Learning Center webinar. We're excited to have you. My name is Ayo Akinrotimi and I'm going to be your host tonight. So you're very much welcome to our webinar once again. I'm also excited to say that I have two brilliant minds, Chima Ukadike and Ikena Afweniem, who would be joining us on this tonight as we plan to unravel this CBT thing, right? It's one thing to know your stuff. It's another thing to be able to pass it across. And passing it across this time around is passing it across to the CFA Institute. So knowing your stuff, having taken all the classes, done all the reading, solve all the questions, you want to be able to pass across to the Institute, CFA Institute, that you understand and that you have mastered every single concept, you know, that they expect that you would for every level of the CFA exams. And like I said earlier, joining me tonight is Chima Ukadike and Ikena Afweniem. Just before I continue, let me share my screen to give you a background of what we're going to be doing tonight. Please bear with me. Okay, so I'll take this. All right, then. So that's cool. Okay, so this is the agenda for tonight. Welcome and introductions, which I'll be doing now. Then we'll conduct an interview for our guests. Then I'll say a few things about New Frontiers Learning Center. We'll take your question and answers, and we'll conclude tonight. So once again, you are very much welcome. And if you know anybody that should be on this call, please feel free to inform them right now. So I'll go straight to welcoming our guests. But before I do that, I'd like to confirm that you can even hear me at all. That's the first thing I'd like to confirm tonight. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Thank you. I need about 20% of people here to respond so I can know.
I can hear you.
Thank
I
you.
can hear you.
Thank you. One more and I'll be fine.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for confirming that. So please, if you know anybody who should be on this call and isn't, please drop it, inform them about this. Okay, so in no particular order, I'd like to introduce our guests. So we have Chima Ukadike, who studied at the University of Ilorin, Kwara, the state of Nigeria, where she earned a BSc in economics. This motivated her finance journey, which she started in 2018 as an internal audit trainee. And after spending 2 years under this role, she moved to equity research as an analyst, and she currently offers clients investment advice regarding the FMCG industry through thematic sector reports and reports on publicly listed company. Chima, you're welcome tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, Chima. Chima is a friend, so and our candidate as well. So full disclosure. All right. So let me go straight to Ikena's profile. So Ikena Afuenyem. She is a graduate of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, with a second-class upper division in business administration. Ikena has over 5 years experience in the Nigerian capital market. He started his career at Qualinvest Capital Limited as a research analyst. Thereafter, I worked in both the corporate finance and the securities trading unit at Planet Capital Limited. Currently, is the head of equities trading at Codros Securities Limited. He's an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria, and he's also a level 3 candidate in the CFA Institute program, right? Ikena, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so just a minute, I got a response from Teke. Okay, Teke Manuel says, I can't hear you. I can see I can hear you. I can hear you from the others. Please, Teke Manuel, are you able to check your audio settings as well? Probably log out and log in. We don't want you to miss out on any part of this. So Ikena, you're welcome once again, and Chima as well. They are both friends and candidates at New Frontiers Learning Center. We're excited that you're able to join us tonight. And I think it's appropriate to say congratulations, Chima, right? It's still appropriate. Congratulations is still appropriate right now.
It's always appropriate. Thank you.
Yeah. Your results were released when?
January 19th.
January
19th.
19th. Okay, that's fine. I think you had the same experience with your level 1 when you joined in. The level 2 class was already on before your results were out, and I think you joined the class somehow. Was it you?
Almost. I think I was writing in the beginning. I wasn't too late, but it was very.
Yeah. Okay. So welcome. Congratulations. Okay. So welcome, Chima, and welcome, Ikena. We're very excited that you guys are here and that you agreed to do this with us tonight. So we'll move in straight right now to asking you the questions that we have, and to our wonderful audience. I see you are still joining. I'm sure you're informing someone who should be here that they shouldn't miss out. And I think this is also streamed live on YouTube. If it's convenient if you're unable to share the link, you can just tell someone to check youtube.com. It's streaming live New Frontiers Learning Center. Then you can get them to be a part of it from there. Okay, so let's go straight into this right tonight. And again, we're excited that you're able to do this with us tonight. So let's meet you. I know I've said a few things about you, so let's meet you. Ladies first, let's take Chima. So let's meet you. If there's anything I haven't said about you.
I think you've covered the relevant parts. So my name is Chuma Okadike, and I studied economics at the University of Ilorin, and I currently work as a senior research analyst with Betiva Capital Management Limited. And yeah, that's why I started my career as an internal audit trainee, and I moved to the research division. I would say, should I go over my CFA journey?
It's fine.
Okay, so I guess I'd always known that I was going to do the CFA, just fresh out of school and trying to going for interviews. I think there was one interview I went to, and there was one guy there that had already done the CFA level 1. And I'm like, didn't we just finish school now? So, but it just the way I didn't even know about the charter, to be fair, or the certification, but the way he said it sounded like something you were supposed to have, and it sounded like something that was like the ace up his sleeve. So I kind of already knew that, it was just a matter of time. And then when I started working, just speaking with my colleagues, many of them already had the charter or were, close to rounding up level 3, level 2. And just, looking at the quality of people that they were, their level of knowledge, analysis, or work, there was, I think, some kind of difference I think I could see. So I guess, it was just a no-brainer to carry on in this path, rather.
Thank you very much, Chima. That was quite insightful. Thank you very much. So Ikena, let's meet you as well.
Yeah, she pretty much said everything. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, very well. You're audible.
Okay, like I said, you've pretty much said everything about me. So me and Chima, we are in the same journey together. CFA Institute is one of the is one of the highest credentials in the field of investment.
Mhm.
I studied business administration, like you said, and then I currently work for other securities as equities trader. On my journey regarding writing CFA exams, while I was in before I got in, I got admission to study business administration. I didn't know that I was going to find myself in the capital markets. But along the line, I started, trying to define my career goals, and then, what I have passion for. I discovered that I really have passion for investment. Within the investment industry,
Mhm.
I like equities trading. That was really motivated when during my third year in school, we went for an excursion at Nigerian Stock Exchange and Nature branch. Where we were, the chairman of the branch then took us through on how the capital market works. Thereafter I took a very strong interest in the capital markets.
Mhm.
When I was in final year, I really knew that I really knew that I was going to go into capital markets.
Mhm.
And then LinkedIn was new to around 2014. When I came on LinkedIn, then I saw some people that even today we are still they I can call them my mentors. They're already in the market. Then we were traders, and then they mentored me. Right then a few people then we are writing CFA, and then I made it. Writing CFA exam was one of my goals then. Then I was writing in CIS. At that time, immediately I graduated, I started writing CIS. When I finished CIS, then I enrolled for CFA level 1. I wrote my level 1, and then that was around 2018.
Okay.
I wrote my level 2, not at once, but I passed on my third attempt when I finally came to New Frontiers Learning Center. That was basically much about me. I'm an investment person. I'm a trader. Trade for clients, equities trading, including property trading. That's what I do.
All right.
That's it for me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ikena. That was a good one. Thank you so much. So let's dive into this CBT thing, right? So a few years ago, CFA Institute came into Nigeria, and I was at that meeting where they were saying, okay, we want to explore this thing. We want to test it and see that it even works, right? In our country, and they ran a test, and voila, COVID came in, and before you knew it, it now became the order of the day and all that, right? So I remember when they were testing, they even got some charter orders to write the exam, And the funny thing they were asking was, oh, they won't get to revoke our CFA charter, just to test and see how it works, right? And it was quite an experience, and they began to do it, and we've had about 2-3 years running right now of CBT back to back. Now, what are your biggest memories, with this CBT thing, right? What would you say were your biggest memories? What was it like taking level 1 and taking level 2? So how for if you only took level 2, we are talking about the CBT right now. Don't talk about if you didn't take the CBT, don't talk about the paper base yet. I'm coming back to that. But in the meantime, let's talk about the CBT. What was it like for you? What are your biggest memories? Level 1, level 2, or just level 2, whichever one it was that you took. So Chima, let's have you.
So I don't exactly have a comparison, I didn't try the paper one, so I can't compare, but just for my level 1 and 2, both were CBT, and I'll say it was relatively smooth for me. I had written some CBT exams before, and I would say one thing that probably really helped me was the mocks, the practice questions I was doing on the LES, which is set up to sort of mirror the exam scenario. So I didn't even know about the learning ecosystem, which is something that I found because I was at New Frontiers, and it exposed me to a number of colleagues that were writing the exam at the time. So just being able to practice a lot with the LES, I would say that's something that saved me. Although for me, one problem, so there's a way the questions are, you know how they would have your questions, and then you have the options, and then you also have the options by the side where you can pick ABC, or you can click on the options directly under the questions, and maybe they ask you which assumption is wrong, and they say statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, but in the options underneath they've arranged this statement 3, statement 2, statement 1. So you can, if you think it's statement 1 and you already saw 1 to 3, you can just say, oh, the answer is A, I'm going to pick A, but then you now have to. So what I tried to force myself to do was I would start clicking on the options themselves, so that I don't have to make mistakes, because those are silly mistakes that can, when you feel something, not because you didn't know it, but because you were very careless. So that's something that helped. But then it turns out that wasn't even very relevant in the exam, because in the exam the options by the sides weren't there. So you actually have to click on the options with the actual words. So I would say it was relatively smooth for me for my level 1. For my level 2, it was a different situation because. Do you want me to hold on?
No, go ahead, please.
It was a different situation because it was now, they then introduced this vignette thing, the essay type stories, and you have one whole story and then have like 5 children questions underneath. So your question 1 will be somewhere inside, maybe usually in the first paragraph or whatever, or maybe question 2 will build on paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. So you basically have to read the whole thing, to sometimes to understand what you're supposed to be doing, or so that you don't make any mistakes in any of your questions. So I'll say one thing that I regretted doing for my level 2 preparation was that I didn't start practicing questions early enough. Because I think what that would have done for me is that it would have helped me to gain the skill to have learned in practicing questions early. It have helped me learn how to read the questions faster and just improve my time management skill on the exam. But apart from that, I'd say it was relatively smooth for me. Apart from the vignette thing, that's it.
Okay. So when you say practice questions early, these were mostly ecosystem questions, right? Just
yes, ecosystem questions. Questions.
Thank you. Just needed to be clear with that. Thank you very much, Chima. So, of course, it's always a different ball game, level 1 and level 2, and to now think that even in the way the exams are set, it's the same way as well, right? A different ball game. So you were racing against time. It was a race of speed and accuracy, but then you had to be careful not to be making mistakes. You ensure you had read the whole thing and all that. Thank you very much. So early practice of questions and paying close attention to this thing. So at level 1 is relatively easy because it's still they select the option according to her and all that. Okay, so Ikena, you have an interesting story. I'd like you to talk about your level 2. From your experience, you said you are taking level 2 about 2 times. It was on the 3rd attempt when you joined New Frontiers that you had passed. I didn't even know that until tonight, right? I'm hearing that from you for the first time. I typically get those feedbacks from students a whole lot of times, but for your case, I'm hearing it for the first time tonight, which is interesting. But what I wanted to speak to tonight is, yes, how level 2 was. So you experienced the paper-based test, right? So you're answering a 2-in-1 question. So tell me, what was the CBT like for you? Then talk about the transition, paper-based CBT. What do you think will be the likely pitfalls that someone who is still in the paper-based, who still has a paper-based mindset is likely to fall into? But then I want your biggest memories on the CBT exams, what you consider were your biggest memories, your biggest lesson. Then secondly, you now talk about the transition. So pretty much your own story is 2-in-1.
Okay, thank you very much, Aya.
Yeah.
For me, the CBT, I made the CBT in my level 2. The easiest memory I can say is was time. It was time. How did you time? So unlike the paper base, maybe you have your wristwatch looking at time, but this one, you know. So I struggled with timing, and then I didn't finish the morning session, very early. And then the afternoon session, I had no issue with that. So for me, in terms of the content for level 2, of CBT level 2, there was no difference. I don't think there was any difference. It's just that this one how was a paper one, used to be on a paper. This one is now on a CBT. So there was basically no difference for me, aside that I struggled with timing at the time, in the morning session. And then I think I also had a couple of friends that also had the same issue with time for level 2. And then for the transition, when I took the second one, and then I knew that, what also delayed me that when you stumble on a question that this way, you see this question, you know it, you've solved it before, but the way that question appeared, before you know it, time has gone. I was trying, I knew this thing, and I solved myself. You got the answer wrong, before you know it, time long. So what I did, once I solved the first question, if I don't get it, I move to the next.
Okay.
So that was a very, very
I think that's pretty insightful. Yeah.
So
go ahead again.
Yeah. Okay, like I said, for the transition, I did level 1 was paper based. Unlike CBT where you have to click the answers. For the paper based, you have to share and make sure you share very well. So, and then I also discovered that for the CBT, they reduce the time. The time you have to you just want click one answer and move on. But for shading, you have to like shade very well. And then before maybe 15 minutes before the end of the exam, they will notify everybody that we have 15 minutes left to go. But in CBT, there's nothing like that. Once the time is up, it will throw you out.
Wow.
If you don't finish. So I can say that time management is very, very important. Very, very important. Just solve the ones that even if you know it very well, but if you don't get the answer correct, just move to the next. Because by the time you delay, when you move to those other ones that you also know very well, you have less time. You'll be struggling to even finish. So I think the ideal thing is to, for me, that don't work for me. Solve the ones you know very well, and then come back again. Even the ones that maybe because of you read the question very well, that's why you're struggling. But by the time you come back and solve it again, there's a high chance of getting the answer on the option.
Thank you very much. So time management, very key, and it's interesting. So there is nothing that notifies you that you have about 15 minutes left on your screen. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure. There was nothing like that.
Chima, is that?
Chima, can you confirm?
Yeah, I think that they notify you at maybe 15 or 10 minutes. I got notified.
Okay, you got a notification. Okay. So,
Okay.
But even at that, you don't even want to wake up when it's 10 minutes to go. You want to keep your eye on the time, and you want to have paced yourself. And I think so. Before now, the questions were more, right? And the hours allotted to the entire exams were more. But right now, the questions are fewer and the time's shorter. So it's like more, your chances of passing the exams get slimmer if the more questions you fail, right? Unlike before, when the questions carry, how do I call it now? Fewer marks compared to what it is right now. So the marks right now are higher, allotted to each question. So if somebody, if you keep making a lot of mistakes, then you're going to struggle. Your results might not be too good. So I think that the timing thing, very important. You want to pay more attention to this. So practically, what did you do for timing, Chima? Practically.
So for me, before the exam, I practice a lot of the mocks. I think you have, on the earliest, you have 2 mocks. That's for session A, morning session and afternoon session. I did all the mocks. In fact, I did the mocks. I couldn't do mocks twice, actually, but I did the mocks and then I went over them again and again. And I tried to also do some other external mocks as I could. Just those. Then for the actual exam, just like Ikena said, when you are struggling, because I don't know, I struggled on some questions, level 1 and level 2, you shall still find that question that is very strong head, so you can't stay and waste time. And how many minutes do you have? You move forward and you come back, and you always come back. I try to make sure that I have time to go over all my questions again. I tried in both cases to go over all my questions again. So just knowing that if I can come back out, be able to still give it another go rather than missing other simple ones ahead, and just wasting time. Any hard one, I'm moving forward and I'm going on and coming back, so I think that's what helped.
Thank you very much. So worrying over a question that is proven to be naughty, a naughty question, will not solve anything. You should just move away from there, and probably when you return, you would be refreshed and able to answer that particular question. Okay, so pretty much. So still for you, Chima. So are you saying that there were no changes? Because I need our audience to understand it. So level 1 and level 2, apart from the structure of the exam itself, are you saying that there is not much difference in writing a CBT level 1 and CBT level 2 exam, apart from the structure of the exam itself? Is that what you're saying?
So for me, the level 1, because the level 1 was just straight question and then your answers underneath, you see your question on one page, you see the answer, like you see your question and the answer, all of them are on one page. So you're reading and you're clicking. For me, because the vignette is long, so they have to give you a different, you click on the vignette to view it, and then you click out to view your question. You read the question, you understand what they're saying, you have to go back to read the vignette, to click on it. So it was a lot of back and forth. Go here, click on it, come here, look at question. What are the options? What do I want to pick? I'm going back to look at the vignettes. Although when I was done and I was leaving, I saw from the side of my eye that some people were able to split their screen. I didn't know how to do that. I'm not sure if all screens can do that. That was when I was leaving for my morning exam, for the morning one. I tried to get someone to help me do that, but I don't think it worked on my screen. But you can't split your screen such that you have your vignette on one page, on one part of the screen, you have your questions on the other part of the screen, so that you're not going back and forth, you're just looking here and answering here. So I think that would really help if you can get that done.
Okay, so splitting the screen is interesting. Ikena, were you able to split your screen?
Yes, there's a way to do that.
Please.
Vignette questions was there on standby, and then when you click the next question, the next question will appear. You understand? I didn't have to go back to the question again. So I was able to split my screen.
Okay. Did you just describe?
I didn't. I don't think maybe I did anything different to doing that. You know?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, level 2 candidates on this call, do you understand what Ikena just said? I'm not writing the CFA exam myself. I'm just here to help you succeed and help you understand. You are the one who knows this. Do you understand what he said? Because if splitting the screen can help you answer questions in lesser time, that's what I'm for. So tell me, do you understand it, or do you need him to go over it again? Because I need to be sure that you understand what he just said about splitting the screen, because this will save a lot of time. I mean, I'm just thinking about it. What must have been going through your mind, Chima? Reading the episode, going back to the question, right, to understand it, and going back. Because what I will have asked you, Chima, was, okay, so what's the way? And I'm coming back to you. I think you should start thinking about it, right? Because if it happens that any of my audience tonight gets into the exam, and for whatever reason they still can't split the exam, I do not want them to be disadvantaged in any way. So what's the way? Is it, I remember those days when we were taking comprehensions and summaries and all that. What I used to do was to understand fully what the question said, then I go into the passage, right? I don't know if it's applicable, so I'll come back to you. I mean, you passed the exams. I mean, it doesn't matter how you felt, you passed the exams. So what you did worked. That's just what I want to note now, and that's what I want our guests to know. So let me see what, I see some message drop in the chat. Okay, guys, so about 3 people have said you should please go over it again. So Ikena, please go over it again. They need to understand what exactly you are saying about splitting the screen. Is it that there's an option there that says split screen, or there is somewhere you click on that splits your screen that is hidden and people need to find it out? So I need my people to understand this thing. Please help us tonight.
Okay. For me, like I said, I don't think I did anything different to split the screen. So
Okay.
if there's a question on if I am on economics, for instance, you know, the question is there on the top. You understand? And then, sorry, the vignette is on top, and then the questions are down. So when I click if I'm on the first question on economics, for instance, when I'm done there, if I click on the next question, the next question will appear. But the vignette is still there. I'm still seeing it. You understand?
The vignette for the second or the first question?
The vignette is a one, maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs, and then that's the vignette.
Okay, and it's for several questions, right?
It's for several questions on that.
Thank you.
Yes. So when you click when you click the next question, let's say question number 2. Question number 2 appear with the options on that, but yeah, the vignette will still be there.
Okay.
You can scroll up or down and then to, you know.
Okay. So Chima, even you, do you understand what Ikena said?
Yes, and I think it just happens that some screens cannot split, because while I was there, I called one of the administrators and like him. I'm like, that's my lot. So
that was what he said.
Yeah, he said that he couldn't split it.
Wow. Okay. So this is something we need to pray about. That's what it is. So guys, do you get it now? He just explained it that he did practically nothing. He just moved to the next questions and the vignettes were still there. So it was a system thing. So okay. So if this happens to somebody, Chima, what should they do?
Like, I guess you just be so I think one thing that is good about the exam is that it is a little bit different from the mocks. So in the mocks, you have your whole essay, the whole vignette, the story down for you, and you have to read all of it to make sure that you don't miss anything for the question. Okay. But for me, at least my experience with the level 2 exam, it was relatively clear. So each question corresponded to each paragraph. So if you're looking at one question, you're basically just having to look at one paragraph. You don't have to read the whole thing. So I didn't have to read the whole thing. So you just read the question, look at the first paragraph or the second paragraph or whatever paragraph it corresponds to, and you're able to answer your question. So I guess it'll just be to get used to clicking. You click on the vignettes, you click out, you look at your question. Maybe what can help is you try as much as possible to read and understand the questions fully before you go back to the vignette, so that you know what exactly you're looking for.
Okay.
So that you don't have to go back and forth a lot of the time, a lot more.
Okay. So guys, is that clear? I need to understand that it is clear. If you find yourself, it is, so what Ikena said is it's screen based. And that's what Chima is saying as well. It's dependent on what screen you are running the exam on, and you do not depend. I mean, you do not control that, do you? You don't. So, but if you find yourself in this situation, Chima said, one way, understand the question very well before you start clicking out and clicking in and all that and all that. I need to know that you understand it. Do you understand it, level 2 candidates? Please, you need to respond. It's important. And if you are able to unmute your microphone, you can say yes, no, it's important. I need to know you're following. Hello, level 2 candidates, are you there? Do you understand it? It's important. Okay. Molara says yes. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. That was, thank you, Chika. So that's clear. So students know you expect, be ready. In fact, in your practice, I think you should practice worst case scenario, right? Where you are clicking out and clicking in just to read and go between question and vignette, deliberately, and expect that when you get to the exam, you will find somewhere where you'll find a screen that is able to split, and that will be fine. Thank you very much, guys. That was insightful, and that's the practical kind of thing that I like to address. So, and you said there's pretty much no difference between what do we call it now? Between level 1 and level 2 CBT, except from the structure of the exams, really, and this screen split. So let's take this one. All right, this is general. So for you guys have passed your level 1. Ikena, you are a veteran now. I mean, if you've written level 2 3 times, then you are a veteran, right? And I'm glad that you have passed and that you've stayed long with it. It's part of the process. The failure is part of the journey, isn't it? And so what would you say? And I want your both perspectives. I'll take you first, Ikena. So level 1, what should a student who wants to pass this exam pay attention to in level 1? In level 2, a student who wants to pass this exam, what should he pay attention to? Right? From someone who has written it more than once, what made the difference by that third time you were writing level 2 and your level 1 experience? What should, if you were advising, if you had a brother who was going to write this exam and say, hey, I'm beginning the survey program level 1, or I'm in level 2, I'm taking the exam in May, what should these people focus on? Separate, tell me what for level 1, tell me for level 2. Right. Ikena, please.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So for me, I will speak from experience. For level 1, time, talk about time here. So time is your friend. Our advice is best to start very early. Start early. You can even start as early, even before you register for the exam. So like I said, start early and then read the curriculum, read everything. Read the curriculum there and understand the learning outcomes of the curriculum, and then go into practice questions. Even as you read the curriculum, as you read the curriculum, solve the practice question. Very, very important. And then now, by doing that, it will help to build your confidence. Solve a lot of practice questions, but that is after you must have read the curriculum very well, so that as you solve, You remember that, oh, you've come across something like this, or you can even go back to the material and then look at it and then continue. So read the material first for level one, practice, do a lot of practice questions to get used to, how to get used to some of the questions, and then maybe 2 months to 1 month to the exam, do a lot of, keep doing practice questions, but do mock CFA mock, do a lot of CFA mock, and then finish the mock on the CFA website. Because the mock is designed to mirror the actual exam. It's time-based, unlike the practice questions or the end of chapter questions on the CFA and curriculum. So the mock is time-based, very helpful. The experience will help you to understand what is going to come on the actual exam day. In that, and then it will be fine. Start early, be consistent, solve as much questions as possible. You also have to be honest with yourself. The areas that you are struggling, you have to pay more attention to them, and don't make the mistake of, okay, the areas you are struggling. Maybe you think that CFA Institute does not that particular subject. There's no the weighting on it is small. Don't make the mistake of saying, let me concentrate on the ones that have higher weighting. Read everything all around. Never know the one that will boost your mark. And then I think with that, we need to go. So for the ones that are struggling, you can consider attending classes. I think that really helped me in my level 2, because I did the level 2 the first time. I didn't get it. I didn't scale through. I did the second time, it didn't work. I didn't have to keep doing the same thing and then over and over again. I had to go to New Frontier. I think it was really, really helpful. The lecturers at New Frontiers, are very helpful and then approachable. Even when I watch videos during my level 2. But one thing about video lecture is I cannot ask the person doing the video in question. But when somebody is teaching you one-on-one, you are free to ask questions. The person can even go back and then explain it very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I can say. Okay, yeah, for level 2, the level 2, unlike level 1 is multiple choice.
Mm-hmm.
Level 2 has vigilance. So doing a lot of practice questions in level 2 is very, very helpful. And then another thing about level 2 is that the questions are based on the information of the vigilance. You don't have to debate. So if the question is asking you to solve a particular question using someone's opinion or something or someone's method, you have to stick to the demand of the question. You don't have to bring in your own method, or if it's ethics, you don't have to bring in, if it's case-based, just the way it is case-based, you don't need to bring in any outside information. Being based on what you know or based on what you've heard before. Just stick to the demand of the question, and then I think, like I said earlier, start early, be consistent. Some people might choose to study only on weekends. Me, I prefer to study almost every day. Just even if it's 1 hour every day, it counts. And then on the weekend, you can also study. You have much time to study. I can say that's pretty much from me.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ikenna. So for you, level 1 is to read the material first and practice, start early, do a lot of mocks, identify your area of struggle. But I think one thing you mentioned at level 1 that I really like is to avoid self-delusion, which is the part where a student can just say, oh, maybe the CFA will not test this part, or maybe it's not as important. It's not, I don't think it's that type of exam. I remember the person who would pass for being the first female CFA charter holder in Nigeria telling me that everything will be tested. Every single thing in that book will be tested, right? And it's true. Found it to be true. So So guys, thank you very much for that for level one. Then you talked about attending classes, which we'll talk about very soon. I will ask that. Then at level two, you talked about practicing questions. Then I also want to take just one thing. So while I take self-delusion, avoiding self-delusion for level one, and also for level two, I want to take the part where you said stick to the case. Bring no external thing. You have more than enough on that VNet to support your question, to provide answers to your question, right, during the course of the problem. So it's important that you stick to the case and bring in no external information. If the institute is not asking you, expecting certain things from you, then leave it. Do you understand it? So it's important that you bring in no external information. Okay, so before we continue, before I take you, Chima, I want to be sure that I need to know that my audience is listening. So please type in the comment. I can see a question there. We'll take the question very soon. It's going to be time for question and answers, but type in the comment something Ikenna mentioned, whether you're a level one or level two candidate. Let me be sure that you are following, because that's how I will know that value is being added. Then Chima, you start warming up for your questions. So guys, let's go. Something he mentioned that will be useful in preparing. Start early, Desmond. Thank you. Okay, bring in no external info, Olufemi Bankole. Thank you. Yeah. Touch all topics, Oyindamola. Thank you. Mock test with several exclamation marks, like mock test. And I think the thing, and Chima, before you take your question, right, let's talk about this mock thing. I think the thing is that apart from the fact that you get used to questions, you taking a lot of mocks just even gets you ready, not just mentally, but physically, right? To let you know whether you even have the stamina to take a 5-hour exam without fainting. Whether you even have the capacity to be mentally alert for that long. I don't know, because everybody's shouting low attention span these days. It's not, I don't think it's applicable to the CFA exams, right? So even though when you are learning, you want to learn in bits and bites here and there and there, you really, what do you think? What do you think when it comes to the mock thing? Then you can also give your own perspective about level one and level two. But let's talk to this mock thing. What do you say? Is that true?
Yeah, I think, the mock mirrors the exam condition, sort of. So I think it's very useful in kind of preparing you mentally for an exam type scenario, because you cannot stand up. Even if you can stand up, please don't stand up. Finish your 2.5 hours before.
Please say that again. Even you can stand up, but please say it again, please.
Your
Let
time
them
is
hear.
going to continue reading. So
Okay.
whatever is wrong with you, manage. I don't know. Try and finish.
Before
you can be during your break, maybe.
Oh God.
So yeah.
So I think typically, please watch what you eat before exams. It's not a day for your stomach to run. It's not even good. You can't put in these several days and weeks of preparation and then no, please, you just want to stay away from that. Thank you, Chima.
I think it's 2.5, but you can check on and replying to the question on the
go ahead. That's fine.
But you can check on when you're doing your mock for the LES. I think it mirrors your mock on the LES. I think it mirrors the exam conditions. So if you're doing level one, you'd see for your morning session, you'd see how many hours you have for the morning session and for the afternoon session, and for level two as well, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah.
So just going to the earlier question, I think Ikenna covered all of it. What I'll just add is to be organized. I know that's something that really helped me very well. I had a spreadsheet that showed me my progress. I've finished 10
Sorry,
readings.
is this for level 1 or 2 or both?
All of them. I've finished 10 readings. I'm coloring my spreadsheet for all the ones I've done. I have the number of days left to my exam. I have number of readings I've done. I have the number of readings per day I can do. I have number of days per reading. All of it shows me everything. I have different colors for which one I read and understood properly. The one that I'm going to finish my chat with questions, or the one that I feel like I'm okay because I have some background knowledge on it. Everything just helps me see everything on a page, and understand, see that I'm on track, and understand what I need to do, where I need to focus on, what I haven't touched, what I may not need to focus so much on, and all of that. Another thing I think I'd add is to be in a place where you have similar people doing the same thing, like have other people that are writing the exam with you, just for information, just for anything they can add to you. I know that I didn't even know about the LES on time, or the mock and practice sections on the practice questions, or the Q bank on time. It was in my class that somebody was telling me that, this is how it works, this is something that you can use. She even showed me how she did it, on my phone, on my laptop, anywhere. You can just open your phone and be practicing questions just like that. You don't have to, wait till you're sitting and studying. You can just, if you have a break, you can download the app. There's the CFA Institute app. You can download the app and answer questions on it as well. What the other thing I would add is to just have people that can help you, hold you accountable and just push you on. I remember it was very relevant for me in my level 2, because like 2 weeks to the exam, I had done use a different strategy for my level 2. One thing is, don't change a strategy that works. If it works for you, it works. Use
True.
it like that, I
True.
think. Because my level 1, when I finish a particular reading, I'm solving the end of chapter questions immediately, even though there's something that you should wait a bit before you solve questions, because there's this what I call it vision memory. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but because you've just seen something now, if you see a question on it, you just saw it, so you can easily answer it. So the true test of your knowledge is, if you wait a few days, will you still be able to answer it and get it?
Thank you. Retention.
So that's something you should also watch out for. However, it doesn't stop you from, or shouldn't stop you from, answering questions as soon as possible, as soon as you possibly can. And because that's something that I know was a difference and helped me. I solved all the questions as I finished reading, I'm solving the EOC. As for the questions on the LES, some of the questions on the end of chapter questions are on the LES. So I just used to do that, when I'm solving questions, when I have my solving questions time. But apart from that, just solving questions, because in my level 2, I wanted to do a strategy of, let me finish all my readings first. Let me read. When I finish reading, I'll now have like a month to solve questions. Because level 2 is different from level 1, because it's the vignette type of situation. You have to read the whole story and all of that. I wasn't used to having to read those long stories first before answering the questions. So there was a bit of a problem or a struggle. I was trying to get master speed, would I say. So if you start early, I think it helps you to master how to answer the questions faster or read the questions faster. That's something I would say. Because at that time, it was so bad that I considered canceling or, deferring my exam. But I guess there was somebody that she said I wasn't going to cancel it, I wasn't going to defer, that I could do it, and, I was able to do it by the grace of God. So, yeah, a community helps. Having people around you help, and just being organized and consistent.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think what I like about these sessions that we hold at New Frontiers is the practicality. There's nothing vague here. There's nothing vague about it. I like how you talked about being organized, using a spreadsheet to track your study and your preparation and all that. And you talked about starting early. But 2 things striking here is, reading is one thing, retention is another. That's a very powerful stuff. I mean, anyone can say they have read, but then how much of it did you retain? And that's what the CFA Institute tests. How much did you keep? You are going to be a CFA charter holder. We are going to expect you to apply this level of professionalism, this level of capacity on your work, on your job. That's what makes you, a charter holder, right? How much of this did you retain, right? So that's pretty much good. Then the fact that a community helps. Thank you very much. Level 1 candidates, for me to continue, you have to do just like the level 2 guys did. Okay, maybe not just level 2. So you have to start telling me here, something you picked from Chima's part as well. So then we can move on to the next question. By the way, somebody on this call, let me just say publicly, is planning to take fufu and egusi for breakfast. For my folks who are not Nigerians who are on this call, fufu and egusi is a 2,000 calorie meal. You know, it's that's inappropriate for breakfast. I mean, 2,000. I'm just saying. So it depends on the volume, right? But it's Nigerians understand, and I responded publicly. We will not be there to save you. You know, if you choose to do that on exam day. In fact, in this kind of situation, you won't be worried about whether the screen split or not. Your concerns will be will be something different. So please don't do that to yourself, right? Yeah. So yeah, consistency is such a key word. Thank you, Lawrence. That's very true. Human beings are product of habits. You can't take an off day until you write that exam. It's the truth. I don't know if Ikenna had this kind of experience, but I know people who said that long after they end the charter, there was a day the guy said he stood up going to the bathroom, and after he's in the bathroom, he went to sit down. He went to sit on the what do I call it? He went to sit on his table and wanted to read. His CFA books were already there, and he just occurred to him, oh, I've ended the charter. Why am I doing this again? So yeah, so it's just because habits have been formed, right? Habits have been formed. I'm going to take all your questions. I'm going to take all your questions, every single one of it. But let me move to the next thing quickly. And Chima and I'll give you like a few minutes for you to just take a break, probably take water or something, then we would continue.
I just want to chip just 2 things.
Please do it, Ikenna. Please do it, Ikenna.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, like I said earlier, it's for either level 1. Just sharing my experience. So either for level 1 or level 2, as you solve the end of chapter questions or the CFA questions on the CFA website, CFA Institute website. So you instead of for some people instead of maybe economics for instance or maybe quants, instead of solving all the questions in quants or all the questions in economics at once, you can actually split the question. I think that really helped him. You can choose to do 10 questions in economics across all the subjects in one day. Do you understand?
Help me again, please. I need to get it. Guys, please listen. Please listen.
So
do it again.
I was saying that level 1 and level 2, you have 10 courses each. Right? So you can actually choose, instead of doing all the end of chapter questions for one particular subject, that if you do economy, it can take you some time to finish, and then you do points, and then instead of doing it like that, you can actually split it and do five questions across all of them. If economics, for instance, you can do end of chapter questions or maybe CFA and question banks on the website. You can do 10 across. Let's say CFA questions on the CFA website. You can do 10 questions on economics, 10 on quants, ethics, 10 across.
This is general questions, right?
I'm just sharing it's part of my experience, and I think it was really helpful. Was really helpful. So you can actually do 10 across, and then come back to the same economics, do 10 across. As you do that, it helps you. Even when you might stumble on another question similar to the one that you saw before. You understand? So another thing too is formula. Level 2 has a lot of formula, so you can actually, have a particular book that's my own. I call it bank of formula. Here I have all the formulas for each of the subjects. Then as you solve, as you do the practice questions, some of the formulas, you memorize them as by default as you solve the practice questions. And then for the one that you're unable to memorize, you have to memorize it before the exam. So what I'm trying to say is have a particular book, or just have where you have all the formulas in economics, quant, equity, FSA, and all that, so that, you might see a question that you know on the exam and you're struggling to remember the formula. I can't remember the formula. So those are the two things I see. Let me just
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ikena. Guys, do you understand it? Do you understand what he said? I'll take all your questions. Don't worry. I'll take all your questions. This is your program. I'm not leaving this place until we attend to all your needs, whether you are from New Frontiers or not. This is for all of you, right? Our intention is that you would be able to take the practical tips and use it. But you need to let me know. Do you understand the two things Ikena just said? Please respond to me so I know whether I'm moving on or I'm asking him to say it again. The session is really practical tonight. Okay, if Chuku doesn't understand, who else? Because, okay, Lawrence understands. Please say it again. Okay. Okay, so Ikena, please help me say it again.
So, okay. What I said earlier is that, or there are what we call question banks on the CFA Institute, in the ecosystem. If economics, for instance, might have like 100 questions, equity might have like, let's say 200 questions. So FSA, financial statement analysis, might have like 300 questions. So for me, instead of doing the 200 questions on equity, when you are done, you start FSA and then do 300 questions. Instead of doing that, you can actually do 10 questions on equity. You go to financial statement analysis, do 10 again. Go to economics, do 10. Go to derivative, do 10. When you are done doing all the 10 courses, you come back again where you stop from. If equity has 10 questions, you've done 10 on equity. By the time you come back to equity, you are going to start from 11. Do you understand? And then do another 10. When you are done that, you've done 20. Go to FSA. Do you understand? Another 20, another 10, 10, 10, 10. Before you know it, that was really helpful to me. Instead of doing one and then by the time you are coming back to other one, you might have even forgotten or starting to get used to how to do some other ones. I don't know if that is clear.
Thank you very much. Guys, tell me it's clear. I've seen people saying makes sense. I need to know that, especially those who said, please say it again, not really. Okay, thank you. If it should I say it's clear. Excellent. So thank you. This is
something I'd like to add. As you're doing the practice questions is as you solve questions.
Go ahead, you're muted.
As you solve questions and you're going through, if you get the answer, check the answer. If you fail the answer, check it. Because if you get the answer, it might just be that you were lucky. So check what the explanation is. If you fail the question, it might just be you were careless. So check that you actually understood it. So that's just as you practice questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Chima. So that you got it doesn't mean you got it because you know it. I like that. That's some level of meekness right there. It's cool. So whether you got it, you check the answer. And thank you very much, Ikena, for that perspective. So I think there is no better way to test retention than that. Because if you run through, right, having completed maybe FSA or something, then that's the thing. So it also means that a candidate in his preparation also probably shouldn't say, I'm reading FSA now, I'm done with economics. I hear students say a lot of these things to me, right? I'm reading FSA now, I'm doing equity now, I'm done with equity now, I'm done with FSA, I'm on economics now. When I'm done with economics, then I'll move to this. Guys, what do you say about this? Will any of you take a go at it? Chima, Ikena, can any of you take a go at that, please?
I apologize, I missed the question. Let me take the question again.
Yeah, so I said, so sometimes I interact with candidates and what they tell me is, right now I'm on economics. When I'm done with economics, I will then move to equity. I'm almost done with equity. When I'm done in equity, then I'm going to fixed income. Is it even optimal?
Well, that's a strategy, but for me, I would say you spread your reading across. Just look for so me, I look for what the readings I think are easier, because when you start something, when you start reading and you start off with an easier topic, it helps you build momentum. You can now go into the harder ones. Plus, the way the curriculum is, I think a lot of the topics are intertwined. So you can be reading something in fixed income today, and you go to derivatives tomorrow. They're referencing something they've said in fixed income that can help you understand something in derivatives, or you're reading something in economics and something is clicking. Like it's until you get to fixed income that something in economics clicked. Oh, that's why they were saying that. So I think it helps to intertwine your reading and for better understanding. At least that worked for me.
Thank you. So it's not as if the mathematical things you're talking about, for example, in QM, is just for you to become a mathematician or a statistician. It's that you will find application for it in fixed income, find application for it in equities, find application for it in portfolio management and all that kind of thing. That's essentially what you're saying.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly.
So if you are going to be able to retain it, you have to, yes, you've read this, but then you are not trying to finish one, go to the next, finish one. It's probably not a strategy that is optimal, right? Thank you very much, Chima. So guys, let me hear that you understand what's been said. It can't be more down to earth than this. It can be, these codes can be cracked better than this. So I need to know that you understand it. Guys, are you good? Audience, please, I'm waiting for you. I can't move on until I know that spell has been added. You're good, Awa. Okay. Okay, so Tola says not clear. That's what I'm asking. All right. Chima, Yunus says, thanks for clarifying that, Chima. You just helped me now. Good. Lauren says yes. Okay. So Chima, can you help me one more time? I have one person in the audience who doesn't understand.
Okay. So I was saying that sometimes when you're reading something in one particular reading, instead of going through all the 5 or 7 readings in economics and then moving on to accounting or FSA or going on to fixed income. Sometimes what you're reading in one particular reading in economics can be cemented in fixed income. It might be when you get into a particular reading in fixed income that you understand better what they were saying in economics, because you can see a more practical view, a more practical use of what they were saying there. So sometimes it helps to
an application.
Yes. Sometimes it helps to mix your readings instead of finishing one course, economics, then go to quants, then go to fixed income. I think it helps you. Sometimes it even helps for variety. Reading one particular reading course, just say you're spending a whole month reading or a whole 2 weeks reading economics can get quite boring. But if you're able to mix it up, it just helps you with the keeps it interesting and keeps it fresh and new.
Thank you very much, Chima. Thank you very much. Tola, are you good? And others, are you guys good? I'm moving on. Are you clear now? Is it clear? Good. So Tola says yes.
Can I ask a question, please? Okay.
I will take your questions. I will take all your questions, but just allow me. I will take all your questions. But let me allow Chima and Ikena just take a short 10 minutes off, probably sip water or something, while I just do a run through for someone on this call who probably needs the information that I'm about to share. So guys, keep your questions coming in. I will take every bit of your questions. Don't worry. We'll take every bit of your question, but let's do this right now.
Sorry, before we go, can I just answer this question that says, would that not be confusing?
Okay, take that one.
So I think that's where having your study organized helps. So if you have a spreadsheet, like I do, that shows you, I've covered this first reading under economics. I haven't covered the remaining 4, so I'm not coloring them. I've covered the first or the second or even the third reading. I haven't done the first 2, but I've done the third reading in fixed income. Sometimes the readings are not balanced on each other. It's not like you need the first 2 to understand the third one. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So if you're tracking your progress like that, I'm not sure that it is haphazard, except I don't understand what you mean by haphazard.
Okay. Tola, are you good? Are you fine? Otherwise, I would allow you ask, explain yourself better when I'm taking the questions. But I will take, don't worry, I'm taking your questions tonight and I will. Right. If you don't worry, I'll take your questions tonight as well. I'll take all the questions. Okay, so quickly, let me do this because of someone who is on this call who probably needs the information that I'm about to share. And I'm doing this because I will do it because it's because of the value that he had. So guys, in 1 minute, please confirm that you can see my screen, right? Please confirm that you can see my screen, please.
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much. I need 3-4 more to move on. Guys, can you see my screen? You need to speak up.
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So welcome once again. I'm sure thus far it's been impactful, and I'll get out of your way in no time. But I need to do this because someone who is on this call who probably needs the information on this right now. So right now, I'm talking to you about New Frontiers and about the CF Institute exam, there are information here that I need to pass across to you. This is Davis Okwabi, who resumed to be a faculty member this diet. He says New Frontiers boasts a full menu of fine tutors, profoundly sound, who are just as theoretical as they are experiential to deliver very insightful learning. At whatever level they'll carry you along, even if you are 2 months away from the exams. And Davis Okwabi actually has this practical story. He had I think he prepared for his level 3 exams in 2 months or something like that. And he had a whole lot going on in his life at the moment. And it was when we had a party for them, for level 3, new level 3 candidates that passed and new charter holders, that he was meeting his teachers for the first time. He had never met them before. Physically at that, because he wrote his exam, I think, during the COVID era or whatever. So he says the admin staff will find a way to place you into the program, and they not only encourage you an atmosphere of feedback, but also take feedback seriously. Plus, you get a handful of good investment tips from some of the finest in the field. With New Frontiers, I completed levels 2 and 3 within a 6-month interval, at a time that recorded the lowest pass rates globally. In fact, studying gets way simpler after attending their classes, physical or online. If you need tutoring, I recommend joining New Frontiers. It's one way to ensure against exam worry. This is Google review. It's verified. It's there. It's not on my website. It's from Google. So this is not me. Now, the CFA designation is the most respected exam. If you're on this call, you probably know that, administered by the CFA Institute, with about 200,000 charter holders globally. The Nigerian number is equally growing with our Nigerian annex number. I'm talking about folks in Canada, right? With some sense of humor, right? So earning the charter requires passing 3 levels of exams, 36 months of qualifying work experience, and pledging to adhere to the code of ethics. 3 levels, right? Level 1, 2, and 3, and it's tested in roughly a 5-hour exam, across each level. Level 1 is a multiple choice questions. Level 2, vignette supported multiple choice questions. That was what Ikena and Chima were talking about. And level 3, vignette supported constructed response questions and vignette supported multiple choice questions. 10 topic areas from ethics to financial statement analysis, quants, portfolio management, equity, fixed income, economics, alternative investments, derivatives, corporate issues, and all. The level 1 exams, one held in February, the next one is in May, the next is in August, and the last one is in November. Level 2 will be May, August, and November, and level 3 will be February and August. The acronym to remember: level 1 is FMAN, level 2 is MAN, May, August, November, MAN, FMAN, February, May, August, and November, and level 3 is FA, right? For the FA Cup, February and August. All right. So our story, New Frontiers, is one born out of a compelling desire to ease the journey of every single CFA exam candidate in Nigeria and globally. It's no more in Nigeria alone anymore. It's a global school right now. We have students from Hong Kong, we have students in the UK, we have students, of course, in Canada, we have students in America, we have students all over the world and in various parts of Nigeria. We have students from Zimbabwe, from all kinds of places. So our founders went through this journey with little or no support of any kind. However, even when they had no reason to, they vowed to turn into reality the dream of every single CFA candidate out there. And that's earning the CFA, the prestigious CFA charter, irrespective of their backgrounds, finance or not finance alike, right? And after an entire decade, it's about 13 years right now of pursuing this vision, our market has experienced significant leaps as we have been able to support about 3,000. This is old information. 3,000 professionals from New Frontiers, and they are now revolutionaries, not just in our market in Nigeria, in various markets of the world. We'd like you to join them today. Of course, these are our founders. You probably met or know them at some point or another. So I'll move quickly to this. So why New Frontiers? One of the biggest things that we have is our world-class faculty of leading investment professionals, right? Someone said it's unlikely to find that much number of intelligent people in one space at the same time. For some reasons, New Frontiers has these people co-located, working together to ensure that candidates pass their exams. More than 10 years of leadership experience is our 13th year doing this. Scholarships, faculty prize. So students who, for example, score 70 on all their exams have a faculty prize. We have special discounts, we have special offers, we have scholarships. In this ongoing diet, we gave out the highest number of scholarships since the inception of the school, all right? And we intend to keep giving out scholarships. Class assignments, monthly tests, mock exams to reinforce classes. We have a no pass, no pay policy, of course, with terms and conditions that apply. Candidate support, mentorship. We have a mentoring program where when you join New Frontiers, you are assigned a faculty mentor who is not only an industry leader, but who has also, and who is not only a CFA charter holder, but of course has written this exam, understand the struggles that candidates go through and provide support for them, right? So there's that. The job and career opportunities that will provide, because New Frontiers has been in this space providing support for CFA candidates, right, globally. We are usually among the first to know when there are job opportunities and career opportunities in the market. People reach out to us for people who will be able to take on these roles. So New Frontiers, like Chima and Ikena said, is more than I'm writing exams. It's an entire community to help your career grow, right? This is Temi Busari, non-executive director at Chipa Cash. Says I wrote for CFA exams as a biological sciences graduate. So you can imagine the burden of transitioning to learning about treasury bonds and derivatives. Looking back now, I could not have done it without the support and commitment of the instructors. They are unrivaled in teaching the curriculum and set the stage for my rewarding career. Right. So what programs fit you? We have 3 main programs, but I'm going to talk mainly about 2. The regular program and the intensive program. Of course, there's the executive program, right? And these programs both run as live and self-paced. Self-paced because we have kept these programs recorded, and then you can study and follow at your own pace. And live classes, whether physical or virtual, where you can follow, and like Ikena said, you can ask questions. I know what other learning providers do. They provide money, they provide the classes where probably one person is teaching all classes in level 1, all in level 2, all in level 3. It's not so at New Frontiers. We have, in some cases, in fact, in some courses, we have like 5 tutors, because we believe that there are subject matter experts. We believe in subject matter expertise, and there are subject matter experts that can sit with issues and address them in areas of specialty, right, without having to have one person teach an entire course, which is what happens in many places. And then when it's time for a one-on-one, they do not have the time. They ask you to pay for it, right? So they put a premium price on that. But we don't do that at New Frontiers. At New Frontiers, you have access to all our faculty, and they will attend to you because they are not overwhelmed and they are not underutilized. They work optimally, right, in delivering the best for candidates. Our regular program is a 16-weekend program. It's our flagship program. For 16 weekends, students come to school on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on public holidays, virtually and physically. It runs from 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Fridays, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. virtually. You have access to faculty lecture notes, mock exams, tests. We run a hybrid class, physical and online. We have access to class recordings if your time zone doesn't work, and you're unable to, or for some reason you're unable to join is that. Then of course, community and networking, which Chima and Ikena has spoken to. If for nothing, for the information that you get and the perspective of other students that you have, the motivation that you have from being among people of like minds is priceless, right? It's priceless. The intensive program is a 2-weekend program. Sorry, 2 weeks program, 14 days from Monday to Sundays, 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. daily, where for students who find it practically impossible to come for 16 weekends to school, but can get 2 weeks of leave or just 2 weeks of time where they can sit down with the best minds and can address issues, solve questions, point to the major areas, major learning areas. What candidates who say, "Oh, I've read on my own. I want a brush up, and I want to get perspective from the best." Right? This is the program for you. It's a hybrid class, it's physical or online, and you can access the recordings so that you can still look at them before your exams, right? And of course, community and networking again. The benefit is like squeezing the 16-weekend benefit into a 14-day period at the lower cost, and that is more affordable, and that is in a very practical manner. Okay, of course, the executive program is the longer version of our program. It's for 6 months. For those who will not be able to attend for 16 weekends or give 16 or 18 hours every weekend because of their busy schedule, and they can work with a flexible class schedule that they determine with their faculty members, then the executive program is for you. These people look to network with industry leaders. They have access to class recordings, mock exams, and all that. So that's that for the executive program. Now, this is our ongoing program, and right now, this is where we are. We are here right now. So the program is pretty much more directly here. Right, so we just started March, and the January to February class, which is the level 1 regular, level 2 regular program, started in January and will end in April. That's for the May and August exams. You have access to recordings for about 12 months, right, after you start your classes. So the recordings will be there, and live you'll be able to take part. There is the April class. The class starting in April is the level 3 class, that Chima and Ikena's class. So that's this place. It's going to run from April to July for the August exam, and perhaps the February exam in 2024, right? So, but that's the level 3 exam. Then, of course, there is the level 1 and level 2 program that will now kick off again in July for students who are writing the November and the December and the February exams, right, in 2024. November exams is 2023. So that's for this level 1 and level 2. Happens twice a year. It's like a sandwich. Level 1 and level 2 and level 3 at the middle, right? So that's fine. Excuse me, please. Of course, you will notice that we also have our intensive programs, the 14-week-day program here, 2 weeks. At the end of the diets, this happens. So somebody is taking our program and they say, okay, I'm coming to prepare. So you'll be doing it just before your May exams with about 2 weeks after our classes to still revise before your exams. The same thing at level 3 and the same thing for level 1 and 2 at this point. Okay, so this is a 2 weeks intensive program. This time around, there are specific details here. Enrollment closes March 31st because we need to prepare for it. It's intense, so there's a lot of preparation that goes into this. So we need to know by 31st of March if you are going to join this program, or if you know someone who's going to take it, tell them to register now. We are not waiting. By 31st of March, we close. We make up our mind about what we are doing with the intensive program. It's level 1 and 2 for this particular one, and it's a hybrid class, physical and online as well. Level 3 exam classes will start in April. If you know a level 3 candidate who doesn't have to struggle, there's no need to try to do this on your own. People have done this and they have results, right? The faculty members are the best in the market. You won't find the kind of faculty that New Frontiers has anyway. I can say that openly, publicly, is what it is. If you can find, then I will not be saying it categorically. You will not find teachers like the ones you have in New Frontiers. So CFA level 3 exam classes for the August exams will start 1st April 2023 and we'll run till June, July, right? So please register now. If you know someone who is doing this exam, please be there. For Lakemi, I said, I was initially overwhelmed by the volume required to be covered. New Frontiers made the entire process easy. The teachers are very patient and ensure they carry everyone along, available to answer questions, even outside class. I said that before. This is a big deal. Outside class, no teacher will turn you down. Outside class. The admin staff are also very helpful. They listen and provide suggestions on how to make the process easy. Right. So if you're interested in talking to New Frontiers for any reason, this is the number to call, or these are the numbers to call, or visit us at newfrontierslearning.com/enroll and register today. And somebody will get back to you, within a very, very short while. Okay, so I'll take all your questions now. If you have any questions, I will gladly take your questions right now. So let's go back. Let's go to your questions. So your questions are open right in front of me. So Chima and Ikena, do I have you? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Ikena. And Chima, okay, Chima is back as well.
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's take the questions that we have on the chat. So I can see a few questions. I will try around to the beginning and be sure that I don't miss out anybody. Okay, so I think Desmond Okocha asked the first question. Okay, no, okay, I see somebody had asked a question. So good evening, team. Thank you for this medium. Quick one, please. Can one study the ecosystem, solve blue box examples, and end of chapter questions, and still be able to cover the content without going through the full curriculum? This question is for level 2, please. Ikena, Chima, you want me to take the question again, or do you get it?
Well, yeah, can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, so I'm not sure what they mean by ecosystem, because the curriculum is in the ecosystem. Like the whole readings are in the ecosystem as well. So except what he means is to do the practice questions on the ecosystem.
That's clearly what it means. That's definitely what it means.
Okay. And then solve questions.
Solve blue box examples and end of chapter questions and still be able to cover the content without going through the full curriculum.
I'm not sure that is advisable, because I know that practice is very important, but I don't think questions will help you understand the material as much as actually reading the material will help you understand it. So it might help you cement and help you find that you have loopholes in your understanding if you're solving questions, but I think it's important to actually go through the readings as well.
Thank you. Not even at level 2, right?
You can, right.
Yeah. So Ikena, you say something about it?
Yes, I agree with Chima totally. I prefer to go through the reading first and then do the questions. Even when you do if you start doing the questions, especially like in level 2, that some of the things are new, and then at a higher level, you don't want to start doing questions on something you don't even understand. For someone like if I start solving questions and I'm not getting them, I feel discouraged. So it makes sense to go through the reading very well, and then by the time you start solving the question, you solve the first one, you get it, and then out of 10, you're able to get at least 7. That's very helpful.
Yeah, I think many times the challenge is time, and people are trying to, you are trying to race against time. But again, whatever it is that you are trying to do, if it looks as if you are kind of like, even if you have the slightest feeling or trace of feeling that this thing looks as if you are trying to circumvent the system, it may not work with CFA. Am I correct, Chima and Ikena?
Yes, very correct.
Chima, let me hear your opinion as well, because I know Ikena agrees.
I think my network was shaky at the time.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I was saying, yeah, Ikena agrees, but then what I said was, the moment you are doing something that I know people are racing against time, and all that, And so we're always looking for a way out. But the moment you are beginning to think about something, right, in your preparation for the CFA exams, and it looks as if you have the slightest trace of feeling that it looks as if you are trying to circumvent the system, then just don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, trying to solve questions and you won't read the, the full content is can be dangerous.
I agree.
All right. So, okay, thank you very much. So Desmond says, I want to ask, how does one take lots of mock tests when you haven't covered much in the materials? I would think, though, that this question is easy. I think it's time-based. You don't touch the mock test until you have covered. But let me hear from my guys. So, Chima, what do you think?
You're correct. I don't think you should be doing the mock test if you've not covered the material. I think you can attempt the practice questions.
Thank you.
But the mock test should be in fact, the mock test doesn't even show up for you until like a month before the exam. You won't see it on your learning ecosystem.
Which is their way of saying it's not optimal yet, right? Until just wait, right? Exactly. So thank you very much for that. So let's move quickly. Okay, duration. The organization sounds very helpful for some of us that are still far back. In addition, please can the speakers talk about how to speed up reading when you have very limited time? How do you speed up reading? So I already have a feeling about this question, but let's talk about it.
I think for me, the curriculum is very broad. There's on each reading, they have the story behind the story of how the topic was formed and how, it just goes into detail about what you need to know about all of it. Which is helpful sometimes if you have a lot of time. But if you don't have a lot of time, there are more summarized versions that give you details. They might not give you all the deep stories if you want to fully understand or deep dive into what you are reading, but I think it gives you enough to understand the topic and be able to answer questions on it. And then if you read these summarized versions like Shwaza notes and you're unable to, and you go to answer questions and you find that you're lacking somewhere, you can then go to the curriculum and look at the specific things that you feel like you may have lacked instead of going through the whole curriculum. That's if you're pressed for time.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Ikena, the next question will be yes. And okay, I mean, it's related. So somebody says, can the speaker talk about curriculum versus Trezor notes, which is helpful or which is best suited for what course? So this is one question that happens in the mind of every candidate. In fact, sometimes 2 months into the exam, they are still asking these questions. So let's see. Ikena, what do you say?
Okay. I will speak about the difference between the curriculum and Shwaza. So what Shwaza tries to, they reduce the content of the material, but they try to cover as much as possible. Kind of summarize the main content. Not really everything. Not really everything, but the curriculum is broad, and then you kind of generalize, give you deeper understanding of the of the subject matter. But what Shwaza does is that kind of summarize the content. I've seen people that use Shwaza in the past. I've seen people that use the curriculum in the past. Me, I used the curriculum in my level 1. I looked down at on my first attempt. I passed. On my level 2, I used Shwaza for I used the curriculum at first for my level 2, and then subsequently I had to use Shwaza for some of the subject that I found difficult, kind of challenging. So that was once I used Shwaza for my 1 to level 2. So it depends on what works for you. I can't really say this is the best. This is it depends on what works for you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ikena, and that's very true. That's the answer. That's the conclusion we came to, that It's pretty much what works for you, right? And I want, Ikena, let me take you first on this other question. So somebody asked, how do we battle burnout or low motivation? I mean, for you who took the exam 3 times at level 2, I'm sure you had some episodes of low motivation and burnout. So how?
Okay, for me, I didn't have a low motivation
Okay.
because yes, I know the reason why I'm fighting the exam. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the industry that I operate, CFA is highly respected. If you have it, it's going to boost your profile. So I've started it. I don't want to give up. I want to finish it. So what I can say keeps me motivated is that like I said, what my industry, investment industry, that CFA certification gives you that credibility. When you're talking to clients, it boosts your profile, and then it's something that I've started. I don't want to do it halfway. So, I'm happy that I continued pushing on in my level 2, and then when I came to New Frontier, it was, after going through the classes, I can say it was really, really helpful, and then really made a difference for me. So,
Thank you very much.
yeah, just to wrap it up, understand, having defined your career goals, know that CFA is relevant to your profession or to your field of, what you're doing. So, that will keep you motivated, and then the fact that a lot of other people have done it, so you can actually do it.
Thank you.
So
Thank you very
that's
much,
for me.
Kena. Thank you. So because of our time, let me take this one. It says, nice lecture, guys. I would like to inquire about how you balance your reading strategies and work time management. And if you use the reading timetable, how did you structure it to ensure you cover all subject areas and curriculums before the exams? Okay, so that's a long one, but Chima, are you able to help?
Okay, so I think you just should first figure out what kind of person you are. Are you a morning person or a night person? Do you do more reading or comprehension in the morning? Some people, when they wake up, is when things can enter their brain. So you know that you have to prioritize that time and make it holy. Nothing touches that morning period where you can get a lot of hours or get a lot of reading done. So if you're a night person, you make sure that you are able to rest before you start your reading, or make sure that you're in a place. If you're you mostly miss traffic before you go home, maybe you want to stay back at work and work, or if you work from home, you want to nap a bit before you wake up to study. I think that could work. Your reading timetable really should show you, or my reading timetable just showed me all my, so for level 1, I had all my 60 readings written out by reading title, broken down into all the 10 courses. So it just showed I was able to color by key. If I've read a particular topic, I color it red. And then, so what, for level 1, I attended classes as well. But what I did was, if I've gone to class, I might not prioritize those ones that I have, gone to class for, just so I'm able to cover everything at once. If I've done classes, I'm prioritizing reading on my own, the ones I haven't read at all or haven't done classes for. That way as well, when you read it on your own, by the time they're taking it in classes, if you're attending classes, you can understand it better, you can have questions for the teacher, and it's a lot more consolidated in your head. Also, I would advise just holding, if you're taking classes, hold on to your teachers, like hold them and don't let them go. They are very, very, very accommodating anyway. Ask them questions and they're answering you. You're sending them messages and they're responding. So I think that's how, I was able to balance my reading strategy at the time.
Okay. Thank you very much. So because of time, so somebody asked about what the minimum passing score for level 1 is. So one of the things we'll be doing tomorrow, we have admin interactions with our level 1 students at New Frontiers. Of course, it's a closed door meeting, so we'll be addressing issues like this, right? But really, Ikena, do you want to speak to this minimum score needed to pass level 1 exam thing?
Okay. It's CFA institutes does not have, they don't disclose the minimum passing score.
Yeah.
That is the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows the minimum passing score.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to, I think it was on 300 hours, you know, yes, I don't know the way they measure the minimum passing score, you know, but it's just an estimate. Just an estimate. It's not the actual minimum passing score. But what I will advise is that, so okay, what CFA what they do is that after the exam, the Board of Governors, they sit and then they consider the difficulty of the exam and all that, and then they agree on a minimum passing score. So there's no specific minimum passing score. If there is at all, it's not in the public domain. So what I will advise is that if you are doing the practice questions, when you do the mock, always target 70 and above. So 70 should be a benchmark. 80 could be a benchmark. So it depends on you. So the higher the better. So if you do the mock exams and then you know, 70 should be your target, nothing less than 70. That's, you know, if you are scoring lower than 70, then you have to do more practice questions. So that's it for me.
Thank you very much, Ikena. Thank you very much. Like I promised, I was going to take all the questions. So I've taken the questions in the chat. Let me take your parting words, right? Let me take your final words to candidates out there. People need, you're welcome, Ugo Chuku. So let's talk about this. So the role of New Frontiers, right, in all of this for you as a student. I know we know some of you personally. We know your stories. And sometimes we remember it and we smile. It's quite a beautiful experience to be having this conversation with you. Then when you came in for the first time, right? And now we are doing this. So I want us to talk about two things. So in your pattern, just talk about the role of New Frontiers in all of this for you as a person. Then secondly, just your parting word to candidates out there. Something to just tell them something as you wrap up, like things you think are the most important things you would share with anybody who asked you about taking the CFA exams. So Chima, let's have you go first.
I've seen New Frontiers has been very, very instrumental in my journey. I took classes for level 1 and level 2, and I wrote both. I studied for them in I started studying for level 1 in March and I wrote in May. I started classes in January. For level 2, I started studying in August and I wrote in November. And I think I would honestly say that if I did not go to classes, I'm not sure that, that timeline would have been very possible for me. One thing that was very helpful is just being in a class of people that are struggling like you, like don't understand the questions, don't understand, just listening to people ask questions, you can learn from somebody else's misunderstanding and, help to understand in a better way. Yeah. I know that for my level 2, for example, it was one of my colleagues or one of my classmates that helped to explain something the day before the exam to me. This guy was a lawyer. He was explaining economics to me. So anybody can help you from anywhere, but it was from the New Frontiers class that I met this guy and he was able to help. Another thing that stands out to me is the dedication of teachers. They would explain to you whatever you need to understand. However much they need to explain to you, you can have even if it means just, maybe having a call later, they'll make sure that you understand. They answer all the questions that you have. Whatever questions it is, they'll tell you that no question is stupid. and they'll answer your questions. And especially during my my practice period when I was like 2 weeks before the exam, it was very, very instrumental. I remember sending my equities teacher messages. I think we were chatting until he really tried. We were really just answering questions and asking and helping me understand a lot of things. So I think that's something that New Frontiers has been very, 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 very useful for. Just providing that community, providing teachers that are very dedicated and willing to answer your questions and make sure that you understand it properly. And also just, so because we're all in finance, sometimes during the classes, you hear practical stories of things that happened in finance world before you joined, or things that maybe you didn't fully understand, just real life stories. You just share that during the classes. And I think that's also very helpful as well, just as you go through your career.
Thank you, Chima. So what will be your parting word to a candidate tonight? Yes.
Tonight. I'll just say that if you are writing or considering writing the exams, you should just try to be consistent, and I think consistency helps you in the sense that it's a long period. So practicing or trying to study for 3 months, 3 months is even quite short. Like maybe 4 to 5 or 6 months. It's a long time to if you're not consistent, you can fall by the wayside, just thinking that you can rough it. But if you're being consistent, you're able to follow a particular study session or study pattern. You build routine. Routine is very, very important. In fact, testimony time, I think I forgot this story.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's testimony. I remember that for my level 1, I came back. I had built so much routine. In the last 2 weeks before my exam, my life was study. My life was just practicing, and imagine I went to write the exam and I came back after eating and freshening up. I went back to my table and I opened my laptop. Like, what are you doing? I didn't even realize what I was doing. I had just built a routine so much that I didn't know what else I was supposed to be doing. I didn't even like a robot. So I think just trying to build consistency and build a routine would help a lot.
Yeah.
Because it helped me.
Thank you so much, Chima. Thank you. Okay, now. So the role of New Frontiers in all of this and your parting words to any candidate out there.
Okay. Like I said earlier, New Frontiers was really instrumental to me in passing my level 2. I remember during the economics class, me took us an economics, and then excuse me, there was something he mentioned on currency that I've been struggling on that since, in a way that when I got into the actual exam, and then there was one particular question and I saw that it used to throw me off balance when I see when he mentioned that in the class. It was like, I don't know the way to
revenge time, Abby.
Exactly. I say this to you again.
The revenge.
I will kill you. So, it was really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Like Chima said, even off the classroom, you can ask them questions. You can send them WhatsApp messages. They will respond to the questions. The lecturers. So it was really, really helpful. And then, of course, you have a group chat, and then questions come up on the group chat. Well, guys, how do you get this? Someone can just solve, and then at the end of the might find out even when you go for the exam, you may something that someone even asked, a particular question that someone brought in. You see something similar or even exact things. Oh, what if this person didn't bring it? You understand that kind of thing. So that group, group chats, questions on the chat, and then like I said, the lecturers, and Michael, Ayokunle, they are very, very helpful to me, And then when I took the last thing, the difference was there, almost 90%. And then the second time I took the exam, I was so close So one thing about attending class is that there might just be one particular thing that will just make the difference. So
Mhm.
that was my experience.
Okay, thank you very much, Iken, that's profound. So your parting words to a
So,
student right now.
okay, yes, my passing word is like Chima mentioned, reading. You have to time is very, very important. You cannot, if 3 months to the exam and you've not read it, there's no way you pass. You can't do magic.
Mm.
Maybe out of 10, one person might pass or 2%. So start way ahead. If you are going to write the exam in November or August, you should have started reading even before you register for the exam. If you are going to even write, say, February next year, you can just get material from somewhere and start reading. And then attend classes and then you'll be fine. Go through the practice. After reading, go through the practice question. You can split your reading instead of reading one whole subjects and then going to another. You can split it, read across, even in a way that even if you pick up any mock, past mock, you'll be able to see something that you know. So consistency is also very, very important. Consistency helps you to stay motivated and then build your confidence way before the exam. So like we used to say that Rome was not built in a day. So starting way ahead of time is very, very, very crucial.
Yeah, very true.
Process in the CFA journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Chima. Thank you so much, Ikenna. This is one of the most practical sessions I've had. Engaging people on our platform. This is, and I'm glad the direction the conversations took. I'm sure our audience has learned a whole lot tonight. Picked up very practical information that they will use to ace their exams from what do I call it? From what do you call it now? From how to prepare for the level 1 exam and the level 3 exam, to how to crack the CBT code and all that, to how just giving your best time and time again, over and over again. Don't stop. Start early. Keep studying. Have a habit. Build a routine. Are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? Determine what works for you. Then build a routine around that, right? Something that definitely works for you, right? And all the practical tips around splitting the screen and all that. So thank you very much, guys, for your time. It's huge, and I'm looking forward to hosting you back in school in another 6 weeks. Am I correct? 6, 7. Chima, are you counting down? Iken, are you guys counting down?
I think it's 1 month. Jimmy's
Oh, 1 month. Okay. Yeah, actually, April 1st, actually. So it's just about, in fact, just about 3 weeks or so now. Or 4. Yeah.
Less than a month, I think.
Less than a month, actually. Okay. So, and I'm sure you guys have started preparing even before coming to school, right? And I want to say to a candidate out there, so candidates these days, yes, sometimes people don't get to prepare until classes start, and then they are trying to see.
I think you're muted. Ayo, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm not muted.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Yeah. So candidates try to, sometimes don't have this information that we share tonight, and so somebody has put in for the exam just when classes start, and they're doing this. But the truth also is, from people like Chima and Ikena's experience, starting when classes begin, people have passed the exams, right? So it's not impossible. The thoughts will come to you: should I defer? Should I not defer? Now you'll be the best person to answer those kind of questions. Of course, we'll provide you access to a mentor. We'll provide you access to all you require in class, right? But again, you have to ultimately make these decisions. But people have done this, and that's why we brought in Chima, we brought in Ike now, who are on their journey. And I'm looking forward to hosting you guys again when it's time to talk about level 3 very, very soon, because you will pass your exams, right? So yeah, amen. The big one. Yeah. So it's appropriate to say. So I look forward to hosting you then, and then we'll remember today and say, okay, yeah, we're talking about level 1 and 2 now. Let's talk level 3, and the journey. So guys, thank you everyone in the audience for participating tonight. I think we should say a big thank you to our guys, Chima and Ikena. For candidates who are already in our program, we have a meeting with you tomorrow morning. At the administrative team have a 9 a.m. interaction with you tomorrow, and we'll pick that up, and we'll see what we can do. Solve more problems internally, get deep on some of the things, or get deeper on some of the things we've talked about tonight to some much more practical things tomorrow morning. So you do not want to miss it. So thank you everyone for your time. Have a wonderful night rest, and please take good care of yourself. Stay fit, stay strong, stay safe, and get ready. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm seeing the feedback. So the thank yous are already pouring in. Thank you, Ayomide. Thank you, Chine. Thank you, Agbenonsi. I hope I got that right. All right. Thank you, Mano. Thanks, Hawa. All right. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you again, Chima. Thank you, Kenan. I appreciate you.
Frontiers Learning is the #1 tuition center for the CFA exams in Nigeria. Our founders went through their CFA journey with little or no support of any kind. However, they vowed to turn into reality the dream of every CFA candidate earning the CFA charter, irrespective of their backgrounds, finance and non-finance alike. It is this commitment to support our candidates that influences our engagement of a world-class faculty, partnerships, scholarship and discount offers, our online learning management system, and so much more. Our clients' outstanding results across all levels of the exams every year attest to the quality of our top-notch physical and online program in the last 10 years. That's right, we have been impacting the industry for 10 years and have supported about 2,500 professionals in that time space. Register with New Frontiers Learning today. New Frontiers Learning is the #1 tuition center for the CFA exam.